What is up, everybody? JT Dangerous here once again. I am back for my Week 4 NFL predictions. Now, Week 3 just ended with the Dallas Cowboys defeating the Arizona Cardinals tonight on Monday Night Football. So our record finishing up Week 3 was 8-8. So not our best week. This was definitely not our best week. I should have lost a lot more games than I won. So again, I'm not happy with my Week 3 predictions. It's not a winning record. It's not a losing record. It's a 500 record. So definitely I'm hopeful my Week 4 predictions will rebound for sure. Now, before I begin, I do want to thank you guys so very much for watching all the videos up until this point on the channel. You guys are making September a fantastic month on the channel. So again, I cannot say thank you enough. And thank you guys for watching my Week 3 NFL predictions, over 100 plus views on it. And you guys super kicked that like button 10 times on that video. So again, thank you guys for super kicking the like button and also commenting your picks as well in that video. As well, do it in this video too. Now, if you've not checked out my Week 5 college football predictions, definitely go check that out today. And this video as well. Now, we are at 190 plus subscribers on the channel, so I do want to thank you guys so very much for supporting the channel. To new subscribers, thank you guys for super kicking that subscribe button, and welcome to the Dangerous Lions. It's absolutely great to have you here. And to my longtime subscribers, thank you guys for, as always, supporting the channel and killing it. Now, this is your first time watching my channel as a first time viewer, and this is your first video. Boy, you picked a good one if you're making NFL predictions. Welcome to the Dangerous Lions. I am JT Dangerously, and welcome to the club, because this club is just whoop whoop. Again, thank you guys so very much. Now, other than that, let's get right into these Week 4 NFL predictions. Now, I'm going to start off on Thursday Night Football. It is an NFC North battle between the Chicago Bears heading to Lambeau to face the Green Bay Packers. Now, starting off with Chicago, they're coming off a big win on Sunday against the Pittsburgh Steelers in overtime, and maybe the biggest upset of the NFL season. No offense to Jacksonville, but Chicago's win against Pittsburgh was a lot bigger of an upset coming from me. Mike Glennon had a pretty solid game. Jordan Howard had a great game on the ground, which got the touchdown to win and defeat the Pittsburgh Steelers. So Chicago got a huge win, and I think that may be their only win this season. But it's a huge win against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Then on the other side, you have the Green Bay Packers are coming off a come-from-behind win at home against the Cincinnati Bengals in overtime. Aaron Rodgers, as always, Mr. Clutch, got him that win. Jordy Nelson had 2 big touchdowns. Randall Cobb did not play because he was hurt. So if you have him on fantasy, keep an eye up until this Thursday night game for sure. So coming from me in the first matchup on Thursday Night Football, I'm gonna go with the Green Bay Packers to defeat the Chicago Bears. And now the Sunday matchup. This is the earliest game because it is in London. It starts at 6:30 here on the West Coast and 9:30 on the East Coast. It is the New Orleans Saints facing the Miami Dolphins. Now, the New Orleans Saints are coming off a big win against their NFC South brethren, the Carolina Panthers, in a blowout. They got it done. Drew Brees was moving the ball down the field. Of course, this is going to be the game. Willie Snead will be back for Drew Brees, so that just adds another clutch wide receiver for Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints. Then on the other side of the Miami Dolphins are coming off maybe the most embarrassing loss coming from me to the New York Jets. They did not look good. Jay Cutler went from having a great game in Week 2 to having a very mediocre game in Week 3, and they did not look good. Jay Ajayi did not have a great game, and their defense got exposed by the New York Jets of all teams. So coming from me in this matchup in London, this one's tough. I'm gonna take, again, I may be wrong here, but I'm gonna take the Miami Dolphins once again to defeat the New Orleans Saints. And now the Sunday slate. This is the 10 a.m. games in the West Coast and 1 p.m. games on the East Coast. It is starting off with the Buffalo Bills heading to the Georgia Dome, facing Dirty Birds, the Atlanta Falcons. Now, the Buffalo Bills are coming off a big win against the Denver Broncos at home. Huge. One of the big-time wins in Week 3. Tyrod Taylor had a great game. Shady McCoy had an even bigger game. So, Buffalo is definitely on a high right now, getting a huge win at home. And then on the other side of the Atlanta Falcons, who once again barely won, or they should have never won that game against the Detroit Lions because Detroit beat them. I'm sorry, Detroit that touchdown should have counted for the Detroit Lions. But, of course, the refs overturned that call and cost Detroit that game. So Atlanta, from the skin of their teeth, won that game. So, again, Atlanta this season has becoming the most lucky team right now in winning. They barely beat the Bears, and they now barely beat the Lions on Sunday. So, coming from me in this matchup, this one's tough. I'm going to take the Atlanta Falcons to defeat the Buffalo Bills. And now the next matchup, an AFC North battle between the Cincinnati Bengals and heading to Cleveland to face the Cleveland Browns. Now, both teams are looking to win their first game of the season. Cincinnati having the lead late in the fourth quarter definitely cost them, because when you have Aaron Rodgers, it's hard to say he's not going to bring the team back. So Cincinnati's coming off a very heartbreaking loss, definitely a loss that Marvin Lewis is going to remember for good, because that could be the game that everybody's going to remember. I mean, they did get a touchdown, first touchdown of the season. A.J. Green had a great game. Andy Dalton had a somewhat of a good game. So Cincinnati, even in a loss, looked better than they did the last 2 weeks. So then on the other side, the Cleveland Browns, who are coming off a very tough loss to the Indianapolis Colts, but they looked good. Deshaun Kaiser had a big-time game for the Browns. Again, it's not a winning. He's starting off with some really tough competition this season in his first year with the Browns. So, again, this can go either way. This matchup can go either way. So, coming from me in the Battle of Ohio, man, I'm going to take the Cincinnati Bengals to defeat the Cleveland Browns. And now the next matchup, it is the Los Angeles Rams heading to the Jerry Dome to face the Dallas Cowboys. Now, the Los Angeles Rams are coming off a big win on Thursday Night Football against the 49ers, and maybe the biggest shootout game we saw in Week 3. I mean, Jared Goff had a hell of a game. Their defense got it done. Cooper Kupp had a great game. Sammy Watkins even had a great game for the Rams. So the Rams being in first place in the NFC West is saying a hell of a lot for sure, that this team has absolutely improved. Then on the other side of the Dallas Cowboys, who of course won tonight on Monday Night Football over the Arizona Cardinals, they got it back together. Zeke the Freak had a great game. Dak Prescott had a pretty good game, and Dez and Jason Witten also had a good game. So coming from me in this matchup, again, the Rams defense is good, but I just think with this high-powered offense in Dallas, I think the Dallas Cowboys will defeat the Los Angeles Rams. And now the next matchup, an NFC North battle between the Detroit Lions heading to Minnesota to face the Minnesota Vikings. Now, the Detroit Lions are coming off maybe the most controversial game in Week 3 when they should have won the game, but the referees reversed the call on the Golden Tate touchdown, which, again, blew my mind that the referees would absolutely overturn that when you could clearly see that was a touchdown for the Lions, and that was another comeback win for the Lions, but refs took it out of their hands. Again, that's what happens when you put the refs in a big, high-profile game. So they're definitely looking for revenge. They're looking to beat the next team they have to face, and that turns out to be the Minnesota Vikings. They're coming off a big win against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Case Keenum with 3 touchdowns. So again, we don't know if Sam Bradford's going to play in this game. I'll let you guys, if anything comes up, I'll put it in the comment section below. But if he doesn't play, Case Keenum, I think, has got it handled. I mean, they had a great game on offense. Defense got it done for them. So coming from me in this NFC North battle, this one's tough. I'm going to take the Detroit Lions when I just think that loss to Atlanta is going to sting forever because of that controversial call. And I think they're going to put all hands on deck in this game and just put an ass kicking on the Vikings. So coming from me, I am taking the Detroit Lions to defeat the Minnesota Vikings. And now the next matchup, it is the Jacksonville Jaguars heading to East Rutherford to face the New York Jets. Now, the Jacksonville Jaguars got a huge, big-time win against the Baltimore Ravens in London in Week 3. They blew it up. I mean, Jacksonville put up, Blake Bortles had 4 touchdowns. Leonard Fournette had a great game. Their defense just smothered Joe Flacco in that game. And they also did something that was really odd, but really, slap in the face. They went with a fake punt when they were up 35-0. Jacksonville Jaguar fans, why would you go for a fake punt when you're up 35-0? Like, that's just insult to injury right there. That's just putting more salt on the wound. But again, that was a big-time win in Week 3 for the Jacksonville Jaguars. But again, coming from me, until they beat somebody that has high-caliber players, again, Baltimore's all about their defense. Their offense is shit. Till they play teams like the Steelers or another fantastic team in the AFC, these games look too easy, and their schedule looks ridiculously easy. Coming from me, they only have one team that actually could give them a fight, and that's the Steelers on October the 6th. So Jacksonville definitely needs to continue to prove to me that they're a legit team. If they can beat Pittsburgh in Week 5, then they are a legit team. Then on the other side, you have the New York Jets are coming off a huge win at home against the Miami Dolphins. Nobody expected to see them win that game, especially me, because the Jets are shit. So coming from me in this matchup, again, not on the hype train yet, I'm taking the Jacksonville Jaguars to defeat the New York Jets. And now the next matchup, an AFC North battle between the Pittsburgh Steelers heading to Baltimore to face the Baltimore Ravens. Now the Pittsburgh Steelers are coming off an embarrassing loss to the Chicago Bears. They did not look good again. This has been maybe the surprise in the AFC North with the Steelers. They've been winning games barely and losing games that they shouldn't be losing. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger did not have a great game. Antonio Brown had a touchdown. Le'Veon Bell was not showing up for sure. So definitely the three Bs have got to step up this season, and definitely in this huge rivalry game. Then on the other side of the Baltimore Ravens, who of course just got shredded by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Joe Flacco just got destroyed in that game. They had to put in Ryan Mallett in the end because they just did not want to continue to see Joe Flacco lay eggs like no other, because Baltimore did not look good in that game against Jacksonville. So coming from me in this AFC North rivalry battle, this one's tough. This is going to be very low scoring coming from me. This is going to be a low scoring game, and these two teams hate each other, so it makes it even better to watch. So I'm going to take the Pittsburgh Steelers to defeat the Baltimore Ravens. And now the next matchup, an AFC South battle between the Tennessee Titans heading to Houston to face the Houston Texans. Now, the Tennessee Titans are coming off a big win at home against the Seattle Seahawks. They looked good. They are undefeated at home in the month of September, so they've definitely been the hottest team right now. Of course, Marcus Mariota had a great game. Their wide receiving core had a great game. DeMarco Murray had a huge monster running game in that game against Seattle. So definitely Tennessee is the team to look out for in the AFC South. Then on the other side of the Houston Texans are coming off a very tough loss to my New England Patriots, but the Houston Texans showed that Deshaun Watson is the best starting quarterback they have. Deshaun Watson proved a lot of people wrong, that nobody expected a rookie to come into Foxborough and actually have a game with the greatest of all time, Tom Brady. And Deshaun Watson had a great game. You cannot deny that. And Houston's got to be happy they picked this guy up from the NFL draft. He has proven above and beyond he is the starter for the Houston Texans. Deshaun Watson has been killing it. DeAndre Hopkins had a pretty good game. Their defense, Jadeveon Clowney had a touchdown return. They got it done. Even in a loss, they proved to the Houston Texans that this is the team to look out for. So coming from me in this AFC South battle, this one's tough. This one's really tough. It's Marcus Mariota out of Oregon against Deshaun Watson out of Clemson. So this one's going to be really tough. So coming from me in this matchup, I am taking the Tennessee Titans to defeat the Houston Texans. And now the next matchup, an NFC West battle between the San Francisco 49ers heading to Glendale to face the Arizona Cardinals. Now, the San Francisco 49ers are coming off a loss on Thursday Night Football in Week 3 against the Rams. They looked good. I mean, they nearly came back from a blowout game, and they made it into a shootout. I mean, Brian Hoyer had a pretty okay game. Carlos Hyde had a hell of a game. 2 touchdowns on the ground. Pierre Garçon had over 100 yards. Coming from me, Brian Hoyer is just not a starting quarterback. And I just think they need to get a starting quarterback that actually can win. Brian Hoyer is just not a good quarterback. Again, the only players I care about on the Niners are Carlos Hyde and Pierre Garçon. Then on the other side of the Arizona Cardinals, coming off a loss tonight on Monday Night Football, they did not look good. The running game was nowhere near as good without David Johnson, who was out he is out for a couple months with a dislocated wrist. So Arizona is definitely looking to decline for sure. So coming from me in this NFC West battle, I am taking the Arizona Cardinals to defeat the San Francisco 49ers. And now the next matchup, it is the Philadelphia Eagles heading to Los Angeles to face the Los Angeles Chargers. Now the Philadelphia Eagles are coming off a big win against the New York Giants on Sunday with a 61-yard field goal by the kicker Elliott, who should be recognized as Mr. Philly for what he did, hitting a record in Philadelphia with a 61-yard field goal to defeat the Giants. They looked good. Carson Wentz had a great game. Alshon Jeffrey had a pretty solid game. And LeGarrette Blount had a good game on the ground. But they did lose one key player on the Eagles. They lost Darren Sproles with a broken arm, so he's out indefinitely. So they lost a pretty solid running back for the Philadelphia Eagles. And then on the other side, the Los Angeles Chargers, who, of course, looked shit, as usual, against the Kansas City Chiefs. Phillip Rivers had 3 picks. Not look good. This team is definitely... You can just see LA just does not give a shit about the Chargers. They care more about the Rams, but they care little to nothing about the Chargers. And that's telling you enough that they should have never moved this team away from San Diego. So coming from me in this matchup, I am taking the Philadelphia Eagles to defeat the Los Angeles Chargers. And now the next matchup, it is the New York Giants heading to Tampa to face the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, of course, the New York Giants are coming off that loss at the last play of the game to the Philadelphia Eagles. They're coming in 0-3. Maybe the biggest surprise in the NFC East that the Giants are 0-3. Of course, there's some big-time beef with Ben McAdoo, their coach, and Eli Manning after the Detroit game. So it's coming out. It's coming out for sure. Odell Beckham Jr. did play pretty solid in that game against Philly, 2 touchdowns. But again, they're 0-3. They're not looking good so far in this season. And then you have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are coming off a pretty embarrassing loss to the Minnesota Vikings. Did not expect that from the Bucs. I know there's a lot of Bucs fans in my comments. I don't think I expected that from the Bucs. I mean, they did not look good in that game. And of course, Levante David, their linebacker, has a high ankle sprain, so we don't know if he's going to be out for an extended period of time on their defense. But Tampa Bay definitely needs to wake up in this game. They're a vulnerable team like the Giants. They're 0-3, so they definitely need to bounce back. The Bucs definitely need to bounce back. When you got Jameis Winston, Mike Evans, Deshaun Jackson, you got O.J. Howard, their tight end out of Alabama. They definitely need to rebound for sure. So coming from me in this matchup, I am taking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to defeat the New York Giants. And now the next matchup is the Carolina Panthers heading to Foxborough to face my favorite team, the New England Patriots. Now the Carolina Panthers are coming off another big loss, surprising loss to the New Orleans Saints. They did not look good in that game, and they also nearly lost another key player, Kelvin Benjamin, with a knee injury, but I've heard that he is set to be fine. So again, Kelvin Benjamin, if he was out for an extended period of time, they would have no Benjamin, no Olsen. So again, Olsen's out with 6 to 8 weeks with a broken foot. So Carolina is definitely depleted at the wide receiving role. I mean, they still have Christian McCaffrey, they still have David Funchess, but losing those 2 players could be huge and detrimental to the Carolina Panthers. Then on the other side of the New England Patriots, who came from behind once again and defeated the Houston Texans on Sunday. Tom Brady once again, clutch in the 4th quarter, winning that game from a Brandon Cooks touchdown. Brandon Cooks had a hell of a game. Offense was just clicking. But the defense, once again, I'm still worried about. Giving up 33 points to a rookie quarterback is saying a lot, because they could have lost that game if it wasn't for Tom Brady and their offense. But definitely the Patriots defense needs to be definitely watched. So coming from me in this matchup, I am taking, of course, my New England Patriots to defeat the Carolina Panthers. And now the next matchup, an AFC West battle between the Oakland Raiders heading to Mile High to face the Denver Broncos. Now the Oakland Raiders are coming off a very embarrassing loss on Sunday Night Football against the Redskins. They did not look good. Derek Carr had his worst game, I think, with 2 picks. They just did not look good in prime time against the Skins. Then on the other side, the Denver Broncos are coming off an embarrassing loss on the road at Buffalo. They did not look good. Trevor Siemian did not have a great game. Their offense just got smothered by that Buffalo Bills D. So coming from me in this matchup, man, this one's tough because it's the no-fly zone against the dynamic offense of AC and DC, the beast mode with Marshawn Lynch. So coming from me, I am taking the Oakland Raiders to defeat the Denver Broncos. And now the Sunday night matchup. It is the Indianapolis Colts heading to CenturyLink Field to face my second favorite team, the Seattle Seahawks. Now the Indianapolis Colts are coming off a big win against Cleveland on Sunday. They looked good. Jacoby Brissett had a hell of a game. Like I said in my week 3, I would just sit Andrew Luck down for the season. Let him rest that injury until he comes back in 2018. Because Jacoby Brissett just proved he's a starting quarterback on any team. Because he had 2 rushing touchdowns. He was moving the team back and forth, up and down the field. So Jacoby Brissett definitely should be starting this game. Even if Andrew Luck is cleared, I would just say sit him down for the season and keep Jacoby Brissett in. Then on the other side, you have the Seattle Seahawks are coming off a tough loss against the Tennessee Titans. Russell Wilson did have a great game, but again, that offensive line is very suspect. Very, very suspect. I mean, their defense looked good. I mean, Richard Sherman had a few bullshit calls, but calls are calls. But they definitely had that game, but they just let it get away from them. And they got shredded on defense from Tennessee. So coming from me in this matchup on Sunday Night Football, man, this one's tough because Colts are looking good right now, and Seattle is definitely looking to get back on track. So coming from me in this matchup, I am taking the Seattle Seahawks to defeat the Indianapolis Colts. And now the Monday night matchup that goes against, of course, Monday Night Raw. It is the Washington Redskins heading to Arrowhead to face the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, the Washington Redskins got a big-time win on Sunday Night Football against the Oakland Raiders. They looked good. Kirk Cousins had a great game. The running backs had pretty good runs on the ground, and the wide receivers got some big-time touchdowns, and their defense also got it done. So the Redskins definitely rebound after last week. So, and then on the other side, the Kansas City Chiefs, who got a big win against the Los Angeles Chargers on Sunday. Kareem Hunt once again showed up. If you do not have him up on fantasy or he's on waiver wire, pick him up immediately. Like, pick him up or trade the house for him, because Kareem Hunt is definitely going to win Rookie of the Year. I would not be surprised he wins Rookie of the Year this year in the NFL, because he has done crazy things in only 3 games. He's already had over 100 yards in 3 games. Dynamic plays, and when you have Alex Smith and Travis Kelce and that defense with Houston and D Ford, it's definitely this, and it's in Arrowhead, and you know that crowd's going to be loud as fuck. So coming from me in this matchup on Monday Night Football, I'm taking the Kansas City Chiefs to defeat the Washington Redskins. And those are my Week 4 NFL predictions. Now, I hope you guys did enjoy these predictions. Comment below, who do you have winning all of these games this week in Week 4? Let me know in the comments. Represent your team as always, and definitely put your picks in the comments section. Let's have a conversation about them. I'm always on to see your comment, like it, and of course reply right back to you, because comments are absolutely always welcome on this channel. Now, I do want to thank you guys so very much for watching, and of course, before you go, you can never forget to do this. That like button, comment, share with your friends. Of course, super kick that like button like only you guys can. And of course, you can never forget to do this as well. That subscribe button, become part of this bigger and dangerous Lions. And I will see you Monday for 5 big videos. Later days and peace.